Some of my questions today are going to come from the fact that I spent that day with you behind the scenes with Drew Canole, because I think there's a man that I think you show a lot of stuff, bro, but I'm ready to ask some questions to bring out even more greatness from you. All right, everybody, Mr. Drew Canole, FitlifeTV. What's up, brother?
Hey, great to be on your show, Ed. I really appreciate it.
So I was just telling everybody how you, not only did you help me after Kokoro camp, but you fed me, you brought me back to health, and I got to, I really, some of my questions today are going to come from the fact that I spent that day with you behind the scenes with Drew Canole, because I think there's a man that I think you show a lot of stuff, bro, but I'm ready to ask some questions to bring out even more greatness from you. So, how you doing today?
I'm fantastic. Yeah, I'm ready to get going. It's whoever's listening to this, wherever you are, let's get as much juicy content into your ears as possible.
So right now you are selling tens of thousands of bottles of your best-selling Organifi green juice every month. You are a media mogul that I really think you're just beginning, man. Like everyone's talking about Trump right now, and I think they need to talk about Drew Canole. So, so first of all, congratulations on the quote-unquote overnight success, which I know has been many years of planting seeds.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny how people say overnight, but it's been probably 10 or 15 years in the making,
So let's go back slightly. I have a list of questions that are a little bit more future focused, but I definitely think my listeners want to at least know where Drew came from. And really, bro, you have I was doing some research before we got on, on how you got to FitlifeTV and juicing. But take us back to right after college, or even take us back as far as you want, and tie some of these connections together for us on how you got to where you are today. Yeah.
So we're gonna go way back.
Let's do it.
Okay. So in college, I grew up in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Kind of over that area with the Michigan accent. And I went to a school called Central Michigan University. I was always an entrepreneur because I grew up in a blue-collar family in Lake City, less than 1,000 people in the whole entire town. And the average per cap per household is around $30,000-$35,000. So
wow, yeah.
Not a lot of financial resources, right? But growing up, I always knew I wanted to, make money. And that was like my core focus. I was like, I got to make money, I got to hustle, I got to do whatever it takes. Because I didn't have that as a kid. So It was like this wound that was in me that pushed me out into the world and wanted to dominate as much as possible. And that's what I did. I graduated from college working 12 to 15 to sometimes 20 hours a day at a company called Quicken Loans. That was the only career I've ever had for about 90 days. And although it was fun and I learned a lot of valuable skills in regards to persuasion, sales, stuff on the phone, the mortgage, the lending industry. It was a great experience. I burnt myself out, like a lot of people, right? I was 40 pounds heavier than I am now.
Wow.
I was lazy, lethargic. I didn't have a lot of passion for what I was doing. I was just doing it for the money. And I started to ask different questions about my life. It all started when I met a man named Frank Scheidler. He's one of my best friends. He's a sage. He's this guy that walks into a room and everything he says you're absorbing and you're learning and you're applying to your life. So many mornings we would meet, 4 or 5 days.
How'd you meet him? Like how did that happen?
So I stopped working at Quicken Loans and I moved to Tampa, Florida, where I was doing mortgages at the real estate boom, right?
Yeah.
2005, 2006. And I started my own company in Tampa where I was actually helping people with credit and debt because I knew if I could help people get a stressful situation, then I would do about it, right?
Totally.
So I did that, and I was still in the zone. This was in my 20s where I'm like, I just got to make money, I got to hustle, all these things. And then I flipped that whole entire thought system, those beliefs on its head. And it came from Frank. He said, if you could do anything and really give back and help people heal, what would you do? And what would you do to feel good about it? And I thought, I've always been into health, although I wasn't the demonstration of health. So first, I knew I had to demonstrate, right? Because one thing that I absolutely despise, and you're the same way because you've been to the Kokoro camp and the different stuff you do in your life, is if you were going to sell somebody anything, you want to be that demonstration of what it is.
Zero question. Yeah.
Selling hope and a dream, right? So I lost 40 pounds in about 90 days. I documented the whole entire journey. I was posting videos on YouTube, sharing it on Facebook. And eventually one person started to follow. I remember the first time Kent Clothier called me and he said, dude, I want you to fly out to my house and I want you to help me transform. Right? So I went out, hung out with Seema and his whole entire family. Kent's like one of my best friends and mentors now. And 2 or 3 days with them, I did where that weekend it was crazy, but I charged what a personal trainer would charge, $150 an hour. And I posted his before and after pics online, and I told people the story of how as soon as he started to change, his business transformed, his family life, he became more present, and all these things that happen when you have a physical transformation. And sure enough, that year I signed up 15 to probably like 16 people back to back that I've traveled around the country, and I worked with them one-on-one as a transformation coach. And there's nothing more rewarding than working with somebody one-on-one and showing them how to change their life with really simple things. Something as simple as sleep optimization or recovery methods that you use after the gym, or the different things that we get into, looking at their DNA and their genetics and figuring out what food they should really be eating through blood testing and different stuff like that I was learning at the time because I'm a voracious reader.
Right. Yeah, so you're one of the best students I've ever met. So this is awesome. Yeah. Awesome. I didn't know Kent was that. He was your first client.
He was my very first transformation client.
Yeah. So there's some. Because I know you guys are close. So this makes a lot more sense. That's awesome, and I love Keith too. He's awesome. Awesome guy.
Yeah.
So can I label a couple things? So in the book I have coming out, Art of Time Collapsing, the first 2 chapters, actually chapter 2 and 3 actually talks about the traps of life. And the paradox of success is chapter 3. And the traps of life are, you kind of get put into this organizational system that even though you're successful at it, it really outputs you to do something possibly that you're just not really meant to do, or it really doesn't. Like Frank seems to be the first person that really just kind of said, Drew, you could do whatever you want in this world. Why are you sitting in this box?
Yeah, exactly. And I would eat with Frank, like I said, 3 to 4 mornings every week, and we would study, and it was more spiritual study than anything. But when getting into the Bible and looking at different, spiritual type texts that motivate you, and you see the way different people have lived their lives, you start asking those bigger questions.
Right.
And I wanted to contribute more to humanity.
Right.
And we have so many years that we're living here. Why not make an impact in our brothers and sisters?
Yeah. And so the spiritual in some ways then brought you to the physical before you can go to the contribution to the world, right?
Yeah, to me, there's nothing more spiritual than helping somebody heal.
Cool.
Than helping somebody shift their blood. If they're deficient in different enzymes and aminos that we can get from juicing, and they're not as vibrant as they can be, then how are they ever going to be present with their wife or their husband and have that deep emotional connection where you look at somebody in the eyes for 20 seconds to a minute and you really feel who that person is?
Yeah.
And that's what health, that's what transformation of the body can do. Much more spiritual in that state to me.
Yeah. It's kind of like a cybernetic loop that if you fix one, the others just kind of magnetically raise, right? And so your methodology, which you've become known for is juicing, right?
Yeah.
And I said to you when I spent time with you that there's so much more that I think the world is going to so it can benefit from. No, dude, what Drew sends me a text message the other day with his workout, and I like working out, but this guy moved 50 tons of weight in like just over an hour. And when I was with you, you had so much energy, and you're the real deal with it. So I love that about you. when I was training for Kokoro Camp, I went from training about an hour a day to about 2.5 to 3 hours a day, about four to 5 days a week. And one of the key things that I added a lot more, so I took Organifi with my morning shakes, and then I'd have it again later, just even on itself. So that was a massive part of my nutritional addition. Why is juicing? Let's go just from I want to talk more about juicing, but give us the pitch on why juicing can transform the body, the human body.
Cool. I'm going to throw you for a loop.
All right, cool.
And most people hear this, but if you're a lot of our coaches and certified Fit Life coaches that we have about 300 all over the world now.
Yeah.
That are now certified with our methodology for coaching and stuff. And one of the biggest things that they report back is that it's more mindset than anything else. So if you take the fundamental aspects of what juicing is, caloric restriction, and you put that into a society where the average American gets about 4,000 to 4,500 calories a day.
Is that right? That's how many?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
And you restrict that, and you give them something that is so nutrient dense that their body and their brain and their the different biochemistry of their being isn't used to. What's going to happen? Well, whatever needed to be healed is going to start to heal. The body takes over the natural process, which is a miracle of a machine, right? We produce 55,000 cells a second.
That's right.
And most people have an impaired or impacted gut, also known as leaky gut.
Yeah.
So when you juice, you're getting rid of that energy that you would spend normally consuming 4,500 calories.
Yeah.
Right? And your body's restoring itself back to its natural state. We call it the Alpha Reset. It's a free 5-day download that you can get when you go to alphareset.com, and it breaks it down day by day, exactly what you need to do to put yourself in that state. And by juicing, we've seen radical results in a very short period of time, which is what anybody that's doing any physical transformation wants. When you can look in the mirror at the end of 5 days and see that you've lost 10 to 20 pounds, that's pretty impressive, right? So that's going to encourage you. You're going to get the dopamine release, those neurochemicals of the brain, and that feel-good serotonin coming from the gut to your brain. That's like, wow, I can actually do this.
Yeah.
I lost 15 pounds already, and I didn't have to go to the gym. I didn't exercise. It wasn't hard. And granted, I was a little hungry at times, but I took a little coconut oil, or I took my magnesium supplement to help curb some of those side effects that you can get from a fasted state. And now I feel so much better.
Right.
And people's skin radically changes. I mean, it's amazing to see the before and after picture of people's faces when they're fully hydrated. Most people are chronically dehydrated.
That's
so
totally
when you have 5 or 6 32-ounce glasses of juice every day, you're really radically hydrating your body, and you're providing it the aminos, the phytonutrients, the phytochemicals that you need to really thrive and have that type of energy, you know?
Yeah. And so how did you stumble across that? Was this from your researching and studying? Is it just...
Yeah. So I had a employee back at Waterfield Credit that this guy was working for me. His name was Mark. And Mark came to me, and he brought me my first ever green juice. And I looked at him like he was crazy, because I didn't hear about Jack LaLanne, nothing else up until that point, but I drank it. And I'm like, let me try this. And his backstory was he was diagnosed with cancer. His testosterone was lower than that of an 18-year-old boy.
Wow.
So his wife, the goodness of her heart, went home, got rid of all the processed food, got rid of the sugar, dairy, wheat, put him on a raw diet. He started juicing, and within 6 months, he resurrected himself. He saved his life.
Wow.
Everything went back to normal. Blood tests looked great. He lost all the weight, and now he's still alive today because of juicing. So I'm like, I might as well drink this.
Jeez Louise, bro.
Fast forward 8 hours after drinking the juice, and I didn't have another coffee. Usually I was the guy that had 2 or 3 coffees throughout the day, right?
Yep.
That's pretty typical. And I felt amazing. It was this even energy. So I'm like, if this guy did it, what would happen if I just had 1 green juice a day? And that's the first thing that we do when our clients come in, is you have to have 1 green juice a day. And sure enough, after 2 weeks of that, we incorporate the Alpha Reset, you do the cleanse. Now you're on a roll.
Yep.
Which is why everybody that goes through our 90-day system of transformation creates lifelong change, because they've changed the way they think. And that's why I said it's more mindset is because when you are in a caloric restrictive state, you know the benefits of intermittent fasting. This is what happens when you're juicing as well, is you get, your brain finally turns on.
Awesome.
Because you're not inundated with digestion. You know, you have more creativity to express whatever you want to create in the world, which a lot of people love as well.
That's fantastic, bro. And then, so this is pretty timely. I mean, obviously, as I'm sitting here, I wish I had my juice with me right now. I'm feeling I wish I was in San Diego sitting next to you, even though I do have the canister in the other room. So we're not going to pause it now. We'll get to it afterwards. But you don't stop there. And so this is where I have a bunch of questions. But one is like, so blood testing, since I do run a health supplement business, one of the things that transformed my life was about 7 years ago when I couldn't wake up. I was like exhausted all the time, but I wasn't depressed, because those were like signs and symptoms of depression, right? Yeah. And I went and I had someone, I did blood work with an integrative medicine doctor, saliva testing, and they came back and they said, well, here's what's going on. You have adrenal fatigue, you need to cut out your milk, your dairy, you're hypersensitive to wheat. And I think, and back then I was like 15 pounds heavier than I am now because I was doing tons of protein shakes, eating tons of eggs. So by doing the blood work, I was able to make some changes that have lasted a long, long time for me. And even as I'm talking, I'm like, man, I got to do it again to get my updated one. So where would someone, first of all, what are your thoughts on that? Does that sound like typical of people who are out there eating crappy food and also running all day long, on the hustle treadmill, so to speak?
100%. I think the biggest thing, what we've discovered is if we know it's inflammatory and, the majority of the population, which wheat is, which dairy is,
yep,
why not just get rid of them, And then the third to that is the person a carb burner or do they run better on fat? Or are they a mixed type? So you start looking at Weston Price's research on metabolic typing, and it's very fascinating what Weston Price went through, Dr. Weston Price. But essentially everybody has a unique metabolic type to them based on their ancestry. So as different as you and I look, our faces, our digestion and intestinal tract is completely different as well.
Oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do we fuel your body optimally with a diet that works for you? 23andMe is a test. You can do it for $7 online. I'm Northern European. I'm guessing you are as well.
Yeah. Is that for the DNA? Is that for the DNA
that's
testing?
The genetic.
Genetics.
Yeah, that's
okay.
the genetic test. So it shows you with a grid and a map essentially where you're from. And 67% of my genes come from Ireland. The meat and potatoes.
Yeah. That's us. Yeah.
Most in the winter, and then Northern European as well. A little bit of Italian. So knowing that, I can shapeshift my diet to make it more optimal. I don't do a lot of fruit. Fruit doesn't really work well for me. But I have friends that their ancestry, like Christina Fully Raw, who only eats fruit. She's a 90-10-10er. But she does great. She looks absolutely amazing, and that works for her. So it's figuring out what works for you based on DNA, your genetics, and your metabolic typing. And then you can kind of regulate that. I usually do a blood test every 3 months, 90 days, just to kind of keep updated on my hormone panels, my stress levels, everything that I need to pinpoint the markers and everything else.
Who do you get your blood testing? Is it local in San Diego, or do you do an online?
I have an acupuncturist here in San Diego and a functional medicine doctor as well.
Awesome.
So you probably have this, but you probably have a whole panel of different experts that you go to, and you can pull resources and information from them.
Yeah.
Right? So they're kind of two people on the panel.
Okay, cool. Like I know Ben Greenfield recommends wellnessfx.com. I have yet to use them. I'm going to. Cool. So moving on. So the other thing about you that I wanted to share though is like you lift weights. Like you're not a slacker. You're not. So let's just go. We're gonna shift gears into go into some mindset stuff and some some things that I think everyone would benefit for. But I want to give everybody maybe a 360 degree picture of your, because you're good looking, your body's phenomenal.
Thanks, brother.
No, totally. I mean, you earn it. Like, I mean, when I was spending the night at your place, you were up at what time training your ass off with a trainer, which that surprised me, to be honest with you. Because I didn't know that you had a trainer. I thought you just kicked ass all the time, and that's who you were. And you are the embodiment of leapfrogging by hiring mentors and coaches. So, which we're going to get to.
Yeah. Cool.
So what is your physical? How do you stay in such badass shape? Let's just go there and look the way you do.
Yeah. Well, even before training, I want to talk about something with you.
All right, cool.
This
cool.
too.
Yeah.
And you did this when you were here. Right? Did you do the lymphatic compression pants?
I didn't. Someone was borrowing them from you.
Yeah.
So I get done with 51 hours of extreme endurance with Kokoro Navy SEAL training, SEAL Fits training, and I think I'm going back to Drew's to get compression pants, and he's like, bro, I forget the guy's name. Yeah, he has them today. I'm like, it didn't matter. I slept for 16 hours, but it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, go ahead and tell me about it, the lymphatic pants.
You were out cold, so. Yeah, so 16 hours of sleep is part of your recovery program after that Kokoro camp, right? You needed it.
I needed it.
So for me, my recovery methodology is insane, right? So every day I sit in the sauna for 30 to 45 minutes. I get an IV usually once a week, coupled with juicing and everything else that I do as well.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I love the IVs, man.
Yeah, so just for further hydration, like a Myers bag with some extra glutathione. I think glutathione is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So in order to have the energy that we need for the gym, and if you're that type A driven personality like you are, then you need to start thinking about recovery very seriously.
Yeah.
So I'm a big believer in having a warm bath 3 or 4 nights mixed with a cold shower afterwards.
Yeah.
To cleanse your lymphatic system, so you do the hot and cold. Sleeping 8 to 9 hours a night. Sometimes even taking a nap for 15 to 20 minutes in the middle of the day in like the hyperbaric chamber that I have here. So recovery is bar none one of the most important things in my life. And that's why I won't when I'm working 12 hours or whatever it is, because of the recovery that we have, right? So that covers the recovery bit.
But let's not, you're bringing up what I would call okay, so something I'm going to have to add in my book is about the pedal to the metal trap, where you're really, I mean, most people, you could see it physically, are so freaking burnt out. Like their adrenals are fried, their thyroid's a mess, their gut's a disaster.
Yeah.
And what you're talking about is like, listen, I mean, actually, I was going to create just one of our podcasts saying, if you're working 12 hours a day, you need to quit it, man, because there's no way you can function at a super, there's no high, I mean, our pro athlete buddies, what do? They train really freaking hard for a small period of time, and then they recover 8 hours, 9 hours, I mean, like they're in recovery mode. They have to do that.
Yeah.
So you're shifting the paradigm slightly with leading with recovery.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. So for me, acupuncture plays a huge role in my recovery.
I got to do a little bit of that. Nice.
I do it once a week, right? And it's generally, I'll go in there and he'll say, "What's your intention for this treatment?" And it's more about building the immune system and just overall stimulating my different chi channels, right?
Yeah.
Chinese medicine.
Love it.
So I do that, and I also get a massage once a week, sometimes twice, depending on how tight I am from the gym. And then craniosacral therapy, I'm a big believer in as well. So you're right. All these things are just set up in the schedule to run, but that allows you to be successful in business and also in the gym and everything else that you do, right?
Yep.
So even if you don't have the funds to hire all these people to do this or coach you or help you with your recovery, there's different ways to get those things at less of a cost, right?
Yeah, it's called. And the other thing with it is that that is a cop-out, by the way, to say, well, I can't
Yeah.
afford those things. So it's just a matter of designing. Like, it may take you 6 months or a year to be in that space. But most people just purely, they can afford it. They just can't afford, they don't know how to create this space in life so that it's okay from a, give myself permission to nurture my body, you know.
Yeah, that's big in our following. You know, we have close to 3 million people now, and most of them are women that are 35 to 50 years old. And a lot of these women, they never take care of themselves.
Yeah.
You know, they're never putting in, they're always taking care of the kids.
Yep.
And that's why you need the recovery element before you go to the gym and crush it or whatever you want to call it, you know?
Yeah. So let's talk about coaches and mentors. The thing I thought was really cool, spending a little more time with you than just a couple hours at a seminar or an event, was you have a lot of mentors around you, or people you actively because you're pursuing mastery and greatness and human performance, and that's amazing. Let's go through how many coaches do you actively have? And I'm not talking about guys that you might read their book once in a while, but like guys that you're actually getting mentored on something with right now.
I mean, probably 20.
Oh, well, let's go over some of them, because I think this is.
Well, you're one of them.
Oh, well, thanks, brother. Well, it's mutual. So
I look up to you for building a high quality, supplement company that brings physical products into reality. And you've done a great job at that. So
thank you.
I look up to you for that. I would say Frank is still a mentor. I talk to him once a week.
Kern?
No, Frank Scheidler.
The man. Yeah, at the beginning. Right? Yeah. Yes,
he keeps me grounded.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome.
I would say when it comes to financial matters, Vinny Fisher's my guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Vinny.
He's a mentor for you as well.
Yeah, and he's been on this podcast. So if people want to listen to how to grow a business with purpose, and you know what's cool about Vinny, and I know you, me, and him have had these conversations, is one of the, I think, the big breakthroughs that Vinny helped me with was it's okay to pivot. Like, it's okay. Like, if you grow in this successful business and you don't like how it's feeling and structured, and you're like, wow, we're growing, everyone's high-fiving you, patting your back, but it's not fulfilling your soul's purpose.
Yeah.
It's okay, bro, to be like, you know what, let's just go down this street because this street is more in alignment with who I want to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Vinny's helped me out a lot with that.
Yeah, for sure. And another one is Doug, Brackman, my psychologist here in San Diego. I meet with him once a week.
Awesome.
He is a Zen master that helps people meditate in a way that's very natural. He calls it the hunter brain, right? You have the hunter brain, which is 3% of the population, the person that doesn't stop, that keeps going, that always wants to improve as a person, big into personal development. So meeting with him is really eye-opening because he explains the neurochemicals associated with what's happening in your body when you experience different emotions.
Wow. And
how to really let that go and meditate and be at peace with everything that's going on. So great mentor there. I would say Mr. Brad Costanzo is a mentor of mine as well. Brad.
Yeah, very well, yeah. Awesome.
He's one of the smartest human beings I know, most creative, and I love rapping with him once a week. I also have friends that I meet with every morning after the gym for breakfast.
Is that right?
Eric Berman is here. He runs Brian Tracy's operation.
Oh, very cool.
In San Diego.
Yeah.
So meeting with Eric and getting insight from him is very powerful as well. Michael Nitti is another mentor. He was Tony Robbins' right-hand man. So an amazing personal development coach that if you have a problem and you need a breakthrough, getting this guy on the phone for 15 minutes, he will get your breakthrough to happen.
Michael Nitti, huh? That's awesome.
Yeah, Michael Nitti. I can give you an intro if you want it.
Well, yeah, all these, I've always said, let's keep going, but I've always said, one of the things I think about you is that, and I've said this, and I'm going to push you to keep doing it, is these are the things that make the man behind FitlifeTV. And these are people that, part of the Ed O'Keefe show, the whole goal is to expand people's awareness so that they can create the life they want to live. I've never said it that way before, so maybe that becomes the one of the
I like it.
mantras. Sounds pretty good. Yeah, with some juice in your hand. So keep going, man. Who else do you reach? Who else influences the man?
I would say in many ways, and you probably have this as well. I would say my team are my mentors.
Yeah.
You know, shoot rapping back and forth with Mae Desmond. She's one of the most heart-centered women on the planet, and she has impacted. She runs their whole coaching program. So
Wow.
Watching her, if I need coaching on something, running it by her, she helps me with that. Kusha Karvandi, not team, who's basically a neuroscientist. I mean, this guy knows more about the brain, the vestibular system, the inner ear, like all of that juicy neuroscience that's like, whoa, like this information is so cutting edge and so new that nobody's talking about it. So having Kusha on the team and always rapping about this is really incredible. And then I would say pretty much everybody on my team, Jamel has been instrumental. He's a former rocket scientist.
Right.
And now he's heading up operations. So looking at the way his brain thinks, that left brain, systematic, how to put processes together, how to be organized, how to look at money differently, is really good for visionary types like these INFJs that are insanely good at motivating and inspiring people, but they lack that left brain, how to stay regimented system type stuff.
What is the INFJ from? Which testing is that?
The Myers-Briggs.
Myers-Briggs. Okay, cool. Yeah, very good. Yeah.
So, we do Myers-Briggs tests for every new person coming on the team, and then also Colby tests as well.
Yeah, I was down at in Colorado with the guys from Early to Rise, Craig Ballantyne, and you know Craig, don't you?
I do know.
Do you know Craig? Craig, and then and Matt Smith, and then Jeff. I'm forgetting Jeff's last name right now. But they were Wonderlic is the other thing that they use, which tests intelligence. Like intelligence. So I'm going to add that. Sorry to jump in and add that, but we're going to add that to
Wonderlic. I'm going to write that down too.
Yeah, it was. I'm going to take it this week. So if maybe we could both take it and see who's more intelligent, but then we'll never share with anybody. But the goal is what they do differently, which I love what you're saying, is that their focus is getting the more intelligent people than themselves, like verifiably more intelligent. And I wanted to ask you, which one is your Navy SEAL? Is that your Tai Chi guy or was that your meditation guy?
Yeah, that's my Qigong guy, actually.
Okay, Qigong guy.
Great. Yeah, so Randy is his name. He's a 6-degree Bujikon master. And I train with him. I try to once a week. We've been a little off because of the holidays.
Yeah.
But he literally teaches you how to weaponize your body in a loving way, right? So that if shit ever hit the fan, you'd be prepared. Like Liam, what's the guy's name from Taken, right? Liam Neeson or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he's the real version of that. To become a 6-degree Bujikon master, you have to fly to Japan, and your master holds a club over top of you.
Yeah.
And you have to sense when he's swinging the club. You don't know when he's going to swing it because you're blindfolded.
Yeah.
You have to feel it, and you have to roll out of the way. If you get hit on the head, you're done. You have to go back home, and then next year you can fly out again if you're lucky. But you become so... you understand the environment on a deeper level. So he's showing me some of that stuff.
I love it.
And it's rooted in spirituality, Qigong. He had me buy this pen the other day that you can take everywhere. It's like a apple pen or something like that, and it's legitimately a weapon.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen one of those?
I have. Yeah. Yeah. They're pretty. You can get a thing to wrap around your neck, so it looks like a. There's some that are like. It looks like just like a little like a necklace, and some guys just pop it right here and. Yeah, it can be very dangerous very quickly. Which nowadays, it's not a bad thing to have on you, I guess.
Yeah, because it's you just want to be prepared, in a very loving way, and it's cool to be prepared. He was a Navy SEAL for 20 years as a sniper, so we've been to the range, and he'll show you how to meditate for 5-10 minutes, and then you'll shoot, and then meditate again, and you can literally cut your performance in shooting long range. What normally takes a Navy SEAL about 6 months, you can do in a week at their camp.
Cool.
We should do that, dude.
Yeah, I think, after Kokoro, my wife's totally okay with me going places for 5 days and not being around. So I say that very jokingly for all of my listeners. I think I get one of those maybe a year. So Let's switch gears slightly. First of all, thanks for really allowing us to go behind the scenes a little bit with those mentors. I think you know, when I was dead broke trying to figure out this business game,
yeah,
I had this false illusion that these guys had it all figured out and are kind of doing it on their own. And now, being, you know, an entrepreneur for 17 years and having 7 children, and at the age of 40, I feel like I'm just still figuring things out. You know, I think that probably is the process. You know, and you can't go where you want to go unless you're willing to find the mentors and teachers to take you there. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So.
100%.
So how did you, like, for our creators out there, like for our either health experts or, you know, anyone, they're probably looking at you going, you mean Drew works out probably a couple hours a day, recovers a few hours a day, and is really about optimizing himself. So how did he make that shift from being a solo entrepreneur to now having a team and having a community? So take us through that from a business perspective slightly, to give everybody a glimpse into what that might look like or how it got there.
Yeah, and I want to preface this too. I got another call at 11.
Yeah.
So if you want to cut it, we can come back later and finish this or whatever.
Let's bang it out hard for 3 minutes, and then we'll do a hard cut, and we'll see what we can do. Maybe do a part 2. I'm cool.
That'd be great. Yeah, part 2 would be better.
Yeah.
I'll have my other computer by then too. So essentially,
Actually, let's do this. I'm going to ask a different question.
Okay.
Where could people get a hold of Organifi, and what's the future of FitlifeTV? Because the next episode we'll do the business magic thing, behind the scenes with Drew Canole.
Love it. Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
All right, so to get Organifi, go to OrganifiShop.com. That's our new shop we have set up. They can get it. We have our probiotics there. It's the first ever superfood infused green drink with coconut extract, which helps with assimilation. And then it also has ashwagandha in it, which lowers stress and helps your brain work better. So as you drink it, you're going to feel more grounded and more focused on the things that you have to get done. So it's really good enough. And it's incredible to see the success stories that we have coming in from people that are using it.
Awesome. What is the book been the most impactful book in the last 12 months?
In the last 12 months, I recently read Elon Musk's biography.
Very good.
And after finishing that, I was like, all right, this is a big thinker.
Yeah.
And when studying big thinkers like that, afterwards I read Einstein and Benjamin Franklin's biography as well. But it's cool to read somebody that's still around today, that's making big things happen and thinks outside the box. So Elon Musk's biography, if you haven't read it yet. Yeah,
and I have some stock in that company, so buy a Tesla. But what also you're getting to see a guy who's trying to transform the world, and all the criticism that's real time. Like, he's getting blasted left and right all the time. So last question. You got like 30 seconds. What would be a bit of advice you'd give your younger self 10 years ago now? Like, you wish you knew back 10 years ago.
It's funny, but I wrote an email about this yesterday.
Oh, you did? Okay, yeah. Cool.
So the big thing I would say is life is going to be better than you've ever imagined. So just breathe, take it easy, and truly, when you look in the mirror, love yourself, because the world's going to need that. And eventually, you are going to become bigger than you've ever even imagined by doing so. So yeah, it's very powerful to think about. You know, if we could somehow get the DeLorean and go back into time and visit our younger selves. But I remember being stressed out about the silliest stuff back in the day. And you have this experience as well after 7 children and everything that you've been through. But all of it, it's just kind of like, it is what it is now. There's this deep peace thing over us as we become, and I have to explain that to my younger self. You know, take it easy every once in a while, breathe, and relax, because everything's going to work out.
That's right. Well, dude, you're a light worker. You're an amazing guy. I'm gonna do I'll make sure all your links and everything are set up. So I appreciate you, and I will connect with you later, Drew. Thanks so much, man. You're the best.
Yeah, I'm sorry I don't have more time today, bud.
No,
we'll rock it out.
Stop. Wanting more is how you should always leave the audience.
All right, amigo.
All right, see you, bro.
Talk to you later, everybody. Bye-bye.
Crush it. This episode is sponsored by Marine D3. If you want 24-hour antioxidant protection while giving your brain, eyes, heart, and overall energy a jolt of long-lasting nourishment, then Marine D3 is for you. This is my number one top-selling health product that I've sold over 500,000 bottles, and right now, 80% of our sales come from repeat customers. Marine D3 can flood your cells with an abundance of new antioxidants and nutrients that fights and repairs damage done to the cells during exercise, everyday living, and the natural breakdown that occurs as we age. After 15 years of research and over $39 million spent on clinical studies, a renowned biochemist has found one of the world's greatest antioxidants. It's called Canole P, hiding deep below the ocean's surface. I took Canole P, combined it with a little-known omega-3 called calamine, as well as vitamin D3, so that you can get maximum benefit all in one supplement. I'd like to give you the first bottle absolutely free. I just ask that you pay shipping and handling. At EdO'KeefeShow.com/free bottle, I'll have a mini presentation that will share more about the supplement and why people are raving about it. Most importantly, it'll show you exactly how you can get it shipped out to you today, just for shipping and handling. This episode is brought to you by Dormant Forces Insider. If you would like monthly big business breakthroughs, insider marketing strategies that actually work, and mindset secrets of multimillionaires sent directly to your door so you can have it in your hands and you can apply them, then this is for you. Now, you can test drive my Dormant Forces Insider Silver membership for just 1 month free. If you love it, we know you'll stay with it and let it keep you in the loop of what's working inside my businesses and the other dozens and dozens of businesses that I mentor. Why would you go at it all on your own when you can use other people's experience than just replicate what works? Anyhow, right now you can test drive the membership for just $1 plus a few bucks shipping and handling by going to EdO'KeefeShow.com/dormant forces. That's EdO'KeefeShow.com/dormant forces.